going to preface this story by saying something that might sound unbelievable. I was raised by a killer. My grandparent had brought me up, and when I was 17, my grandfather stalked, kidnapped, and murdered my grandmother, all because she wanted a divorce. I married young, 22, and later discovered that my ex-husband's father was a predator. He hurt his own daughters. They were just children. Both men are now serving life sentences, but for a long time, I was close to them. Too close. Not a bit something else. For a while, I was drawn to danger. When you grow up around warning signs, they stop looking like warnings. They start to feel normal. But then, I started listening to my intuition, and everything changed. Now, I can spot them, the predators, from far away. And they know I see them. It's like this unspoken thing, like when you're at a party, and you and someone else notice something funny. You don't say it out loud, you just glance at each other and laugh, telepathically. That's how it feels. It's only happened twice. I don't get out much. And to be honest, there aren't that many people like this, but when they show up, I feel it. Like this man, my mom's friend, a truck driver, she started taking my daughter to play dates with his daughter. They met at a church group. Later I found out that this group was something else. Not just religious. Extremist. They believed all white people were evil, that they were the chosen ones, not the Jews. It was a cult. I got uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. I didn't want to cut off the playdates cold turkey. The kids were innocent. So I took time off work, started going with them, and I told my mom this man wasn't allowed near my daughter unless I was there. When I met him, he was charming, sweet, funny, but too jolly. He used the soft voice to make me feel safe, and he kept talking about being protective, trying to sound manly. But it was all a performance, and I saw through it. He's told me strange things, like how his daughter wasn't allowed to wear pants, only dresses. It was odd, but I brushed it off. Then came the drinks, one after another, while we were out with the kids. Not a huge deal maybe, but I'm not a drunkard, especially not on play dates, and I made that clear. We were at the beach, watching the kids. He laid out a blanket, told me I could come closer. I hesitated, said I need to sit where I was to see the kids better. I already had my own blanket, but he kept pushing. You can see them from here, he said. Here, meaning practically on his lap. He stared at me, silent for what felt like an hour. Eventually, I scooted slightly closer, just enough to ease the tension. I sat at the edge corner of his blanket, avoided eye contact, focused on the kids, kept my body angled away, did everything I could to keep him from getting closer. The vibes were off, but I chalked it up to his culty beliefs, figured he was just an odd person still. My gut burned for days after. He spoke poorly about women, especially his kid's mom. I figured he was just a misogynistic weirdo. Then he went on a truck run, and when he came back, he wanted another play date. I told my mom I had to be there. We picked a day I wasn't working, went to a paint studio for the kids, and again, he offered me drinks at a children's art studio where no drinks were served. He even left, ran out to a bar, come back with a beer, hidden in a tumbler. He sipped it, surrounded by kids painting bluey portraits. It was bizarre, even for him. After that, we went to a trampoline park. The kids were laughing, jumping, playing, and he kept picking me up, throwing me into the foam pit. I told him I wasn't feeling well, asked him to stop. He didn't. Then he pulled me down on top of him while lying on the trampoline. I got up, grabbed my daughter, and left. Before all that, I got a friction burn on my wrist. Slid down the trampoline too fast. It stung, but I didn't think much of it. Until he grabbed my wrist, hard, pressed down on the oaken wound just to taunt me. I don't know what he is, socially awkward, disturbed, but my body has never reacted so strongly to a person except for my ex-husband's father. I couldn't sleep for days. Started smoking again after 10 years clean. My thoughts were racing constantly. I called my brothers, told them how strange it all felt, ended up crying every time out of pure fear. My stomach trembled for 2 weeks straight. I can't say if he's a criminal, but the truck driver job paired with that devious nature is not something I ever want to mess with. Edit. I met him twice. That was a year ago. He's banned from our lives, preferably from my mum's too, but I can't control her. My kid is barely allowed around my own mother anymore. I lost trust in her after this. To those in the comments, Please stop telling me to cut contact. It was cut a long time ago. If you think I'm a bad mum, that's your opinion, but I don't care. I know how vigilant I am with my daughter's safety. I started a new job, working from home, just to be near her, so my mother doesn't need to be. There are other security measures too, quiet ones, that I won't share. I don't know enough about this man yet file a report or go to CPS, and I don't plan on being around him yet learn more. I don't even know where he lives. My mum won't tell me. She's suspicious of my intentions because she knows I think he's disgusting. I even tried asking for their address just to send a birthday invitation. She wouldn't give it to me because they don't celebrate birthdays in their religion. All in all, this is a strange situation, and getting the police involved wouldn't be easy, so I believe this is where it ends. My interaction with this person is over, and I can only hope our paths never cross again. Someone posted about security the other day, and it stirred something in me. A memory from college. It was strange and maybe a little unsettling, but I thought you might get a kick out of it. I was 20, female, if that matters. I subleased a friend's house for the summer, one of those student neighborhoods where every house is filled with college kids. 4 bedrooms, but I was the only one there, alone. Coincidentally, a friend's younger sibling needed a place for her rescue pit bull. Her name was June. I've always loved boxers, always been curious about pets, and to this day, I'm convinced June saved me from something that summer. I'm obsessive about 2 things. It's cleaning, unlocking doors, especially when I'm alone. So that summer, I locked everything, all the time. The house had magnetic fob locks. Front door faced the neighborhood. Back door faced an alley. That's where I parked. I locked every door, every night, even my bedroom door. June slept in the room with me. The alarm system never set up, so it was just me and the locks. The first night, I was nervous. I didn't know until she arrived, but June had just been rescued, less than a month ago. I should have asked more questions. She was apprehensive, skittish, fresh out of the shelter. It was obvious she'd been abused, scars all over her body, and she'd recently given birth. Also, June was hulked out. I mean, this dog was an absolute unit. I'd rehabbed a dog before, so I felt ready. It was just me and June all summer. I set up a plush bed for her, soft blankets, toys. She looked at it and said, nah. Next thing I knew, she was in bed with me, head inches from my face, all teeth. I barely slept, not because I didn't trust her, but because I didn't know her yet. I was scared I'd roll over, startle her, and end up with my face bitten off. I know that sounds silly, but that's where my mind was. Night 2, same thing, except I fell asleep, woke up to her staring into my soul. Great, we're bonding. Night 3, we watched movies, snuggled, shared pizza crust. She let me scratch her belly, started acting like a puppy, less like a recently released inmate, and I started to feel safe, really safe. There was an alarm on the house, but the girls who lived there never set it up. Didn't care to. So I relied on locks. Just locks. Night 1, I got into bed, directed June, this massive, jacked pit bull, to the plush bed I'd made for her. Soft blankets, toys, the works. She looked at it and said, yeah. Next thing I knew, she was in bed with me, facing me, her head and all those teeth just inches from my face. I barely slept, not because I didn't trust her, but because I was scared I'd roll onto her foot, startle her, and end up with my face bitten off. I know, it sounds silly, but that's where my mind was. Night 2, same thing, except I fell asleep. Woke up to June, staring into my soul. Great, we're bonding. Night 3, we watched movies, snuggled. I shared my pizza crust. She let me scratch her belly. Started acting like a puppy, less like a recently released inmate. Then came morning 4. It was early, 6:30 a.m. I usually got up around 9. Class at noon. I was groggy, trying to figure out why I was awake. And then I saw June, snarling at the bedroom door, body slamming it, sniffing the base, lunging at the handle. It was terrifying, but I wasn't afraid of her. I realized someone was outside the door, jiggling the handle, which I had locked. I live in Texas, so I reached under the bed, grabbed my 12 gauge. Old, loud, I racked it. Silence. Then a voice. Maintenance, we're maintenance. You didn't mean to scare you, ma'am. We're here to fix the dishwasher. Me? I didn't put in a maintenance request, and the dishwasher's in the kitchen downstairs. Yeah, he said. We were told no one was here. I'm training a new guy. Thought I'd show him what the houses look like inside. June was losing her mind, and I was armed, annoyed, confused, and then it hit me. I had deadbolted every door. So how did they get in? I honestly don't know. Back then, those magnetic fobs were still new, especially in the apartments near campus. Maybe they had a way in, maybe not. I should have been more scared, I know that now. But I could tell these guys were panicking. Between the sound of my shotgun and the monster snarling on the other side of the door, they were rattled. I cracked the door, just a sliver, enough for them to see the gun. And June, foaming at the mouth. I wanted to see their uniforms to confirm they were legit. But there were no uniforms. 3 men, 2 older, maybe early 40s, 1 younger, no older than 25. They looked rough, like they'd been sleeping outside. Their clothes were clean, but they hadn't showered in a while. I told them to leave, or I'd let June out. Said I'd call the front office, clear things up, but for now, they needed to go. And they did, tied on their heels, walked out. Once they were gone, I checked the doors. The back door was unlocked. I know I locked it. No doubt. I called the front office, right at 8 a.m. They hadn't dispatched anyone, not that day. They asked for a description. I gave them what I could. I don't know if those men were ever caught, but I hope they were. I've never been so scared. I used that gun for hunting, never for people. And in that housing complex, at least 5 women had been attacked, just weeks before. I don't know if those men were involved, but if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, you know the rest. I kept June the whole summer. Would have adopted her. We bonded. She had my back. But the place I was moving to wasn't right for her. No yard, too small. Still, I've never felt so safe with a dog. And to this day, I'm convinced June saved me from something truly horrible. No random man parading as maintenance could ever convince me otherwise. This happened when I was 18, so about 14 years ago now. I just got my driver's license. In Italy, you can't get one until you're 18. That summer, my friends and I spent late nights hanging out in Rome. There were 5 of us that evening. I was driving. 4 friends packed into the car. Around midnight, we parked in a quiet square in the south of the city. We had a football, just something to mess around with. It was summer vacation, so staying out late, laughing, kicking a ball around, it all felt normal. After a while, a man wandered over. Early 30s maybe, carrying a large duffel bag. He didn't look threatening, but he was strange. Skinny, toned, wearing shorts, G's-up sneakers, a long-sleeve shirt, a baseball cap. He had a beard and long greasy hair. Not exactly a common look for a man his age where we lived. He started chatting with us, then asked if he could join our game. We were just passing the ball around, trying not to let it touch the ground. After a few minutes, he slipped into the rhythm, easily. He asked about our interests, then, oddly, he started asking about our sex lives. I'm shy by nature, but some of my friends are more outgoing. They talked with him, maybe to impress us, maybe just curious. Then he started showing off. Finger push-eyes, distal squats, other feats of strength. One of my friends kept egging him on, treating him like a performer. So he kept going, more and more. I should mention something important. Before we said he could play with us, he had dropped his bag between 2 parked cars. So, one of the cars parked nearby was mine. At some point during all this, my friend, the one who'd been joking with the man, kicks the ghoul a little further away. On purpose. Then he turned to me and whispered, "Unlock your car." I didn't ask questions, just did it. He ran, grabbed the man's duffel bag, tucked it into my trunk. Then he shouted, "And go, now." I think we all just got swept up in it. Before I knew it, we were in the car, driving off. The man chased us, running full speed. He was fast, really fast. But eventually, he disappeared from my rearview mirror. I felt awful, truly. I'm not a thief, none of us were. But when my friend yelled, we panicked. And now, we had the bag. We drove back toward our neighborhood, toward home. But we stopped at a nearby park. We had to know what was in the bag. The zipper opened, and everything changed. In Italy, it's rare to find someone armed, so what we saw was shocking. Underneath the dirty clothes was a dagger. Not a kitchen knife, not something you'd find in a drawer. This thing looked medieval. Like it came from a collector or a museum. There was food too, and a small luck box, 3-digit combo. We didn't have the code, but curiosity got the better of us. We threw it again and again until it cracked open. Inside were ID cards, 16 of them, all women. That's when the chill hit. I started to panic. Would he use my car? What if he remembered my license plate? What if he could track me down? I don't even know if that's possible, but at 18, that's where my mind went. We tried to figure out who he could be. That man with a dagger and all those IDs, 16 of them, all women. Our imaginations ran wild and we wrestled with what to do next. At best, maybe it was just theft. At worst, something far more terrifying. We decided to take the bag to the police in the morning. None of us wanted to go that night, but daylight and a little sleep made the idea feel less daunting. The gag stayed in my car overnight. The next day, 2 of my friends and I walked into the station. Apparently, they don't get many people doing what we were doing. We were met with blank stares, unbelieving eyes, unserious questions, until we pulled out the box. The one with the ideas, that flipped a switch. The officer went from disinterested to deeply concerned. Then came the questions. Where were we? What did he look like? Was he driving? Did he say anything at all? But we didn't have answers. We were just dumb teens. Nobody thought to ask. Nobody thought to remember. They took the bag, filed what little we could give, and sent us on our way. Said they'd reach out if they had follow-up questions. But you can probably guess. We never heard back. Now, looking back, I wish I'd studied those IDs. Tried harder to remember the names, just 1 or 2. Maybe I could have looked them up, maybe I could have done more. But how we see things at 18 isn't how we see them in our 30s. I can only hope there was some explanation, something that didn't lead down a dark path. But all these years later, I still don't know. My wife passed away last October. After fighting cancer for 3.5 long, exhausting years. Most people who know me, friends, co-workers, even distant family, they know she's gone. But there's a part of the story they don't know, a part I don't often share, because even saying it out loud feels like reopening a wound that never really had a chance to close. She died of ovarian cancer. It metastasized, such a sterile word, metastasized. What it really means is that it spread. Quietly at first, then relentlessly. Until it felt like it had taken over not just her body, but both of our lives. When the tumor was first found, it hadn't been labeled cancerous. Still, the doctors were clear. They strongly advised immediate surgery, remove it, get it out before it became something worse. When the biopsy came back, confirmed it was cancer, their recommendation only grew louder. Surgery, chemotherapy as soon as possible. I trusted them, I wanted her to trust them too. I supported every word they said because all I cared about was buying her more time, giving her a chance to fight, a chance to live. But this is where the manipulation began. Her mother, my mother-in-law, had always held a strong emotional grip on her. Their bond was complicated, almost suffocating. I'd seen how much sway her mother's words carried, how a suggestion from her landed heavier than expert advice, heavier than my own pleading. So when the doctors urged surgery and chemo, her mother countered everything. She told my wife to trust nature, to follow the same path she claimed to have followed years ago when she had a tumor of her own. According to her, natural remedies, herbs, diet and prayer had worked, and she convinced my wife to do the same. And my wife listened. Against the medical team against me, she followed her mother's words. For months, she stuck to those so-called remedies. I watched her drink strange teas, cut food groups from her diet, rub oils onto her skin, with the faith of someone who truly believed it was helping. But I saw her change. Her energy faded, her face grew thinner, she smiled less, slept more. It wasn't working. It was never going to work. By the time her body began to fail, in ways she couldn't ignore, the tumor had grown. 8 pounds. Imagine carrying that inside you. Something malignant, something pretting against every organ, draining every ounce of strength. Then came the blood clots. She could barely walk. Pain shot through her legs with every step. Finally, she had the surgery, a full hysterectomy. They removed the tumor, cleared the clots, and she endured chemo, round after round. She was brave, so brave, but it was too late. The cancer had grown too aggressive, spread too far. Her body couldn't fight anymore, and after all those years of clinging to hope, she passed away. October 17th. That day lives in my head constantly. The sounds of the machines, and then the silence. The way the world tilted, as if gravity itself had changed. I live with the knowledge that maybe if things had gone differently, she might still be here. I can't prove it. The doctors can't say for sure. But I know in my heart there was time to intervene, time to take control before it became uncontrollable. But she listened to her mother, and that thought haunts me every single day. It gnaws at me when I'm lying in bed at night. I loved her more than anything. I begged her to listen, to reason, but her mother's voice was louder. All she cared about was being right. She wanted to prove that her way was better than medicine. I don't believe she ever once considered what was truly best for her daughter. She just wanted control, and she got it. The cost of my wife's life. I carry so much resentment toward her. It's hard to describe the depth of it. When I see her name pop up on my phone, it's like being stabbed in the chest. All over again. She sends messages, pretending to grieve, pretending to care, but all I see is the face of the person who steered my wife away from the care that could have saved her. I don't answer the calls. And a few weeks ago, I blocked her permanently. I can't bear the thought of ever sitting across from her, ever hearing her try to justify what she did. Because she would. She'd argue. Say she didn't know, say she only wanted the best, but the truth is, she wanted control. And just as much as the cancer that killed my wife. So here I am, alone, trying to live in a world that feels empty, cold, without my better half. Some days, I wake up and the loneliness is unbearable. The bed feels too big, the house too quiet. I catch myself wanting to come and tell her something. Something trivial, a story from work, a meme I just saw, and then I remember, she's not there anymore. People say time helps, the grief dulls, eventually, and maybe that's true, but what I don't know is whether I'll ever let go of the anger. It's the bitterness that flares when I think of her mom. She robbed me of the year I was supposed to have. She robbed my wife of the chance to fight properly with everything medicine could offer. Last October, I lost the love of my life, and I don't think I'll ever forgive the woman who helped make it happen. I'm trying to move forward, just to put one foot in front of the other, but some days, I'm not sure I'm succeeding.